What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Throttle channel. I'm Mickey Andrade and today I'm going to show you guys around my 2020 Ford Mustang GT. And a lot of the parts have started rolling in, so I'm going to walk you through all the stuff that's here right now. We've got a few more things still inbound, but a lot of it is already here and I'm excited to show you guys what we have for the car. Let's head over here to what I'm probably the most excited about right now is our wheel and tire package. We've got our raised 57DR wheels in a 19 by 10.5 for the rear, 19 by 9.5 for the front, and we got this special color. This was supposed to be a bluish color and I was looking for like a mag blue. And this is a new blue that they're offering. It almost has a charcoal look to it. When the light hits it just right, it definitely has a blue hue. I think it's gonna look great against the white paint on our Mustang. To round out this wheel setup, we actually have Falcon RT660 tires. These are the new, basically street legal track tire. This is a 200 UTQG, super sticky tire, and we've been putting these on everything here at the shop because they're so great. They're super predictable, super sticky, and absolutely the perfect tire for San Diego driving. I highly recommend these if you live in the Midwest or the East Coast for summer driving only, but they are the business. And if you guys are in the market for a set of tires, I greatly suggest that you give them a try. So on the back, we got 305s. On the fronts, we have 265s. So there should be plenty of rubber under this to get it to hook up. I'm not trying to lose to any WRXs again.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So we're throwing a lot of grip at this car. That's where we're gonna start with the wheel and tire package. We also have our ST Suspension Xta Coilovers that have arrived. This is a pretty cool package here because essentially they offer a coilover kit for the car, but what's cool is you can customize it. So they have this thing called My Choice. So if you guys look closely, we obviously spec'd the springs out in my favorite floral yellow, and we've gone ahead and actually put the throtl thing on the spring. And they let you put anything you want on there. So you could literally write your name, you could write your girlfriend's name, you could write a bad word, you could write whatever you want. So we put Stang on there because that's what I call the car. The Stang. The Stang. So these are the springs for the rear. These are the new shocks for the rear. We've got some new bits coming to mount this to the chassis. We're not gonna use the factory strut mount. We're actually gonna use an aftermarket part. So that's like the real basic suspension, wheel, and tire setup that we have for the car. These are all top end products, so they're gonna work out wonderfully on this car. I mean, we wouldn't have chosen them if they weren't the best of the best. We've also chosen to partner with a company called Steeda. If you guys have been around Mustangs ever in your life, or Fords for that matter, Steeda is a very large name in suspension and basically Ford chassis in general. They make a lot of great custom parts for these cars, and they address a lot of shortcomings that you'll find in the Mustang platform in particular, especially when you try to get serious about racing it. Steeda had about 80% of what we needed on the shelf. The other 20% is trickling in. So let's take a look over there and show you guys what we have. So we've got our Camber adjustment arms. These things are buff and solid, really beautiful pieces, very nicely built. And I don't think we're gonna have any issues with these things breaking because they are very heavy duty, although still pretty lightweight being that they're made out of aluminum. We also have a bump steer kit here from Steeda. These will go on the front and help us eliminate any bump steer that we're seeing. We have the Steeda rear differential mount kit, so this will stiffen up all the rubber bushings in the rear. When we do a launch or something, keep everything from vibrating, this is gonna stiffen all that up and put the power to the ground. And one thing we don't have here today that's actually en route and should maybe even be arriving this afternoon is our Stop the Hop kit, which is also from Steeda, and it's basically a mix match of components that they make that they put into one kit that allows you to bolt onto the car, and when you do hard launches at the drag strip or when you're racing around, you don't get wheel hop. So it's gonna put that power directly to the ground, and it replaces a lot of stuff underneath the rear of the car. That, in conjunction with a lot of this stuff here, we think we're gonna have a really nice handling car, and we're probably gonna have to do it justice by taking it to the track a time or two. I'm looking forward to that. Moving ahead, we've got a Brembo brake kit upgrade from Ford. Now, if you guys are familiar with the performance packs that you can get through Ford when you buy your Mustang, ours didn't come with any performance pack upgrades. So what we did was we actually got a non-performance pack car. So I reached out to our friends at AutoNation Ford of Tustin to get a lot of these pieces that we are after. So instead of ordering the car and throwing away a bunch of parts that were gonna get replaced with superior parts off of the performance pack, we just ordered the performance pack and some additional stuff that we wanted through the parts department. And they were fantastic getting those parts in a timely fashion and getting them down here to us. To go along with the brakes, we went ahead and ordered up a set of 20 ARP fasteners. These are gonna replace our factory lug nuts. These have a a ball nose on them. So if we're doing some track duties and stuff like that, we can go ahead and slap on lug nuts really quick without having to worry about screwing up the studs. We also went ahead and ordered up Ford Performance open-ended lug nuts. So these will work in conjunction with those ARP studs. It's a really nice upgrade, especially for a car that could potentially see some track time. We went ahead and also ordered the Ford Performance tow hook. So this is a front tow hook. And over on the other side of the pile, we actually have the rear tow hook. So these are gonna require us to remove the bumpers and actually fasten these to the bumper beams underneath the bumper covers. These are all things that I've always wanted to do whenever I did a Mustang. I really wanted to build a track-inspired Mustang. And having our friends at Steeda, AutoNation, Ford, Tustin really see our vision and help us acquire all these parts through their outlets. And it's an honor, really. Like, I'm blown away by the part support that we've been able to acquire for this car. And I think what's gonna be the end result is gonna be a game changer for us as far as builds go. We've got a lot of other things as well. So we've got Ford Racing sway bars. This is the front bar, this is the rear bar. These are really buff and big. We've got our 2-point ultralight G-Track brace that goes underneath the car to help tie everything together, the subframes and all that. There's also another brace that goes along with this. It's not here yet. We've got a bunch of control arms. These are all upgraded track pack or performance pack items. We've got strut tower cutting tool from Steeda. This is actually a really cool part so that you can cut strut towers so that you can access your camber plates. So our Suspension Xta Coilovers have camber adjustment, but the hole in the top of the strut tower is not big enough to access. So you actually have to use a hole saw and create the room you need to access the camber adjustment. But what's cool is Steeda actually manufactures this part that goes inside the hole saw. And this is the size of the original hole of the strut tower. It allows you to drill a nice, precise hole in your strut tower without the thing walking around and wobbling like these type of bits tend to do. We reached out to Ford Performance and got a short throw shifter. This isn't specifically like a drag strip type shifter. This is basically a shortened shifter meant for the street, for street use. So it's got some solid bushings and that. It's gonna be a nice mix between daily drivability and a race shifter. Of course, we dug deep into the Ford racing catalog and hooked up with a nice little bit that if you've ever built a Mustang, all the shift knobs all look the same. But I was able to source this from Ford Performance through AutoNation Ford Tustin. Got a nice carbon shift knob with a black ring around it, which is really, really nice. It has the Ford logo on the backside, which is really sharp as well. Even though we're building an American car, I still want to put my little JDM touches on it, and I love carbon fiber and fluoro yellow, as you guys all know and hose me for. But I want to add a little bit of those touches to this car as well. So this is actually a really cool part, and a lot of people don't know a lot of these Ford Performance parts exist. And that's what made working with AutoNation Ford of Tustin so special, was they have full access to the full Ford Performance line. You can also order these items through throtl. We also sell Ford Performance. And I wanted to upgrade to the aluminum pad pedals. And I didn't realize that they're actually gonna send me a whole drive-by-wire pedal assembly with the aluminum pedal already attached to it. It's actually a unique way of going about supplying a race pedal set. It's actually, you get the whole pedal assembly itself. And then it came with the other 2 pads for the clutch pedal as well as the brake pedal. So pretty cool. It'll really tidy up that interior, I think, a little bit. We have a lot of suspension arms for this car, guys, and there's still more on the way, which is crazy. So these are all performance pack parts. And this looks like a factory arm, correct? But what's cool is they actually have, instead of just a urethane bushing in here, you've actually got Heim style joint, which is pretty cool. So it's gonna stiffen everything up, but allow the car to put the power to the ground. Now, there might be some overlap because I did order some parts from Ford Performance before we started talking to the boys over at Steeda. So there may be some parts in the Stop the Hop kit that are gonna eliminate maybe some of these Ford Performance parts because we wanna utilize their kit as a whole. So we'll see when we get there. One of the really, really, really cool things that we wanted on our Mustang, but we weren't able to get straight from the dealer, was this guy right here. And this is really cool because this is something that took a lot of me doing a lot of homework to figure out. We're gonna be doing a gauge cluster upgrade on the car. So this here, which is sealed, and I'm not gonna unseal it for the video right now, but this is essentially the digital cluster that came in the Bullet and other premium models of Mustang. And I think This is a huge upgrade. We also had to get some steering wheel controls that go with it. So we'll do that install. We're gonna have to work closely with AutoNation Ford of Tustin to get this functioning properly in the car, because it does work alongside whatever features your car has. So you have to have it programmed to acknowledge the features your car has and work properly. So that will be a fun process, and we will document that along the way. So we also went ahead, and for now, we're gonna be running this car naturally aspirated. So we went ahead and got their air box. This is really nice ABS plastic air box. It is an open element setup, so this filter sits in here, and it's bringing nice fresh air. And to go alongside that, we've got the SCT BDX Performance Programmer that comes with this. So we'll go ahead and get a little tune put on here once we get this installed, and we should be able to free up a few extra horsepower. And in the looks department, we have a lot planned. So to begin with, we went ahead and reached out to Anderson Composites, who is the domestic arm of Sabon Carbon. And they make a really nice product for the Mustang. So we got their hood, and this hood is similar to what you'd find on a GT350. However, it is raised a bit higher, and it has some different variances, but it has a similar style vent in the center, which I really like. And on the rear, we have a track pack style spoiler that has an adjustable gurney flap. So what's really nice is it actually has alignment dowels already in the wing to utilize the factory holes on the trunk, so you get this thing nice and aligned and square straight out of the gate. And then what's cool is I already replaced these with Downstar hardwares, but basically you can loosen these up, and this slides up and down, so you can adjust the amount of downforce that you want on the wing. Now the question is whether to paint it or not. I kind of want to paint part of it white and leave a little bit carbon. Same with the hood. I think it might look a little out of place if I just leave it carbon. So we'll have to maybe take a poll in the comment section. Once those parts go on the car, you guys can speak up and say whether we should paint it or leave it carbon. Another part that I got out of the Ford Performance catalog was these cool Ford Performance hood shocks. So these are meant for a stock hood. So with our lightweight Anderson Composites hood, these might be a little bit strong, but we're gonna put them on and give them a try, because I really don't like the hood props. Now, this is overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff. We've got a couple more items to mention. We do have a Downstar under hood hardware kit. This is something new that they've recently released. This is basically what they call a dress up hardware kit. And so this is for under the engine bay. So it's for your strut towers, for your shocks, basically all the visible hardware that you're gonna see around the engine bay. This replaces all that, and you can choose what color beauty washers you want. And then all the hardware is really nice stainless parts. So this is gonna clean up the look and also last the life of the car, which is really cool. This is one part that I thought was really cool. We're able to pick up this air oil separator. If you guys are big STI or Subaru guys, you guys always use these on your builds, and I tend to put them on every car I build as well, just for longevity of the engine and overall health. What's really cool about this part is that Ford Performance actually manufactures this part, and it looks like an OE bit, which is really cool. So you can see the logo on top there. This looks like a factory part that would normally come on the car. In our case, it does not come on the car. So I ordered this up through them. It also comes with factory hoses, which are push to connects, which are really cool. So once this is mounted in the car, unless you know what you're looking for, this is probably gonna hide away pretty nice and look like just something that came with the car. So to say we have some big plans for this car, I think is an understatement. We obviously, with all the parts that are already here, and we still have probably about this amount we're still waiting on. So this car is gonna transform rather quickly, and I think in all the right areas. So handling, performance, appearance, we're basically gonna be touching on everything. One thing you guys are probably noticing is there's no supercharger, no turbos, no real power adders here other than a tuner and an air intake box. And there's a reason for that. So we do plan to tackle a power adder at some point with this car, but for me, I wanna dial the chassis in first, understand how the thing functions and works with stock horsepower. Mind you, it is 460 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. So it's already making plenty of power. But when we get all this stuff installed and understand how the chassis is reacting, then at that point, we're gonna choose a power adder and we'll bring you guys along for the ride. So this giant box over here is actually for MagnaFlow, and this is gonna complement our Steeda air intake. This is obviously an exhaust. That's what MagnaFlow is known for. And this is gonna be basically their straight through race style exhaust. It's not necessarily straight through, but it's gonna be very loud. It is an X-pipe design, has 4 tips. and is gonna really wake this car up. We'll have a full video dedicated to the installation of this MagnaFlow product and allowing you guys to hear the car before and after. And last but not least, you guys probably noticed with a keen eye that we have the windows tinted already. That's one of the first things we always do to our project cars here at Throtl. So drop them off at Tint World over in Miramar, California, and they hook it up with the ceramic film. So we keep the internal temperatures down, we keep our interior dash in good shape from those UV rays. And the overall aesthetic, you can't really argue with. It looks fantastic. So I'm looking forward to getting started on this car. Ricky and I got our work cut out for us. This is a lot of parts to throw at this thing, and there's more inbound. So you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for those, but it's time to get started.